She wrote me 100 letters before she died, and told me to open one every year. Losing Elara felt like the end of the world. My name is James Sterling, I'm 35, and she was my wife, my best friend, my entire universe. A car accident, sudden, unfair. It had been a year since the funeral, a blur of black suits and whispered condolences. I was a ghost in my own home, a man defined by his grief. On the day of our second anniversary, a day that was now just a painful memory, her best friend, Mia, 35, came to my door. She held a small, weathered wooden box in her hands. Elara wanted you to have this, she said, her voice thick with emotion. She wrote you 100 letters. She told me to tell you to open one every year. I took the box, my hands trembling. She wrote me 100 letters before she died, and told me to open one every year. And as I opened the first, I began to realize that the woman I mourned was a stranger with a secret that would change my life forever. The box was heavy, the wood worn and smooth from years of use. Inside, there were 100 letters, each one meticulously numbered and sealed with a heart-shaped wax seal. The first one was labeled, Year 1. My hands, which had been so numb with grief, now felt alive, a profound sense of hope and dread filling my heart. I opened the first letter. Her handwriting, a beautiful, cursive script, was as familiar as her voice. My dearest James, it began. By the time you read this, a year has passed. I hope you've started to heal. I hope you're not still eating just pizza and Chinese food. Remember to eat your vegetables. The words were so simple, so her, that a choked sob escaped my lips. She was there, in those words, a living, breathing presence in a world that had felt so empty without her. The letter was a chronicle of our first year of marriage. The little inside jokes, the small, silly fights, the profound, beautiful moments of love. She wrote about her love for me, a love that felt so real, so tangible, that it was a physical pain in my chest. I love you more than words can say, James, she wrote. And I will always, always be with you. The letter ended with a small, intimate detail, a memory only we shared. It was a beautiful, heartbreaking farewell, a final message from a love that was gone. Over the next few weeks, the letter was a lifeline. I read it over and over, her words a comforting presence in my life. It was a bridge to a past I couldn't let go of, a connection to a woman who was a ghost in my life. I went to the grocery store, I bought vegetables, I cooked. I started to live again. The second anniversary came, a day I had dreaded, a day that felt like a painful reminder of a life that was gone. I opened the second letter, my hands still trembling, but this time with a profound sense of anticipation. I was hoping for another beautiful, heartbreaking farewell, another glimpse into the heart of the woman I loved. The letter started the same. Her handwriting, her voice, her love. She wrote about our second year of marriage. The letter was a beautiful, raw chronicle of our life. And then, the tone shifted. James, it began, I have a confession to make. A secret I never had the courage to tell you. My heart, which had been so full of hope, suddenly dropped. The secret was a story of a man from her past. A man named Liam, a man she had loved before me. She wrote about their relationship, a beautiful, intense, all-consuming love. A love she had never truly let go of. She wrote about a brief, fleeting moment of weakness. A single night, a moment of betrayal, a moment that, according to her, was a mistake. A moment she regretted, a moment that, according to her, meant nothing. My world, which had been so carefully rebuilt, suddenly crumbled. The woman I had mourned, the perfect wife, the perfect life, was a lie. The love I thought was pure, was a love that was tainted. The grief, which had been a dull ache, was now a sharp, raw wound of betrayal. The letter wasn't a farewell, it was a confession. A confession from beyond the grave. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep. The letter, once a lifeline, was now a source of profound, unending torment. I wanted to burn it. I wanted to throw the box away. But I couldn't. I was a man trapped in a living nightmare, a man haunted by a ghost who had betrayed him. My best friend, Mia, who had been a rock, a constant source of support, was the only one I could talk to. I showed her the letter, the heartbreaking confession. She was stunned, shocked, horrified. She had been Elara's best friend. She had known everything, and she had never said a word. The third anniversary came, a day I had dreaded, a day that felt like a painful reminder of a life that was a lie. I opened the third letter, my hands trembling with a mixture of anger and a desperate need for answers. I wanted to know the full story. I wanted to know the truth. The letter was different this time. Her handwriting was shaky, the words more fragmented. It wasn't a beautiful, poetic chronicle of our life. It was a raw, honest confession. She wrote about Liam. She wrote about the betrayal. And then, she wrote about the truth. The betrayal wasn't a one-time thing. It was a lie she had told herself to justify what she had done. It was an affair, a secret, ongoing affair that had lasted for a year. A year of, I love yous, of shared dinners, of planning our future. All of it, a lie. And then, the final confession. The final, heartbreaking truth. The day of her death, she was on her way to him. A final, desperate act of a woman trying to choose between two lives, two loves. She was on her way to tell him that she was leaving me. She was on her way to him to start a new life. But she never made it. My heart, which had been so carefully rebuilt, now felt like it was in pieces. The woman I had mourned, the woman I had loved, was a stranger. A liar, a cheater. The grief, which had been a dull ache, was now a profound, unending rage. A rage at her, a rage at myself, a rage at the world. The letters, once a symbol of her undying love, were now a testament to her profound, unforgivable betrayal. I went to my best friend, Mia. I showed her the letter, the heartbreaking confession. She was a ghost, a woman consumed by guilt I couldn't comprehend. She confessed everything. She knew. She had known about the affair. She had known about Liam. She had known about the letters. She had known everything. She was a part of the lie. She had kept the secret for her best friend. A secret that had now destroyed my life. The 4th anniversary came, a day I had dreaded, a day that felt like a painful reminder of a life that was a lie. I opened the 4th letter, my hands trembling with a profound, unending rage. I was expecting another confession, another layer of her betrayal. I was expecting to be hurt again. But the letter was different. It was a letter of hope, of a future. James, it began. By the time you read this, you will have read the worst of it. The truth, the betrayal, the lie, and I am so sorry. I know my words are not enough. I know my apologies are meaningless. But please, don't let my mistakes ruin your life. Please, don't let me destroy your future. She wrote about a dream we had shared, a dream of traveling the world, of seeing the world, of living a life of adventure. She wrote about a hidden bank account, an account she had set up, a small fortune she had been saving for years. It's for you, James, she wrote. It's for you to go and see the world, to go and live a life of adventure, to go and be happy. It's for you to find a new love, a new life, a new beginning. My heart, which had been so full of rage, suddenly felt a tiny, fragile spark of hope. The woman I had loved, the woman I had mourned, was not just a liar and a cheater. She was a complicated, flawed human being, a woman who had made a profound mistake, a woman who had tried, in her own way, to make things right. The letter wasn't a confession, it was a final, desperate act of a woman trying to atone. Over the next few weeks, I started to live again. I went to the bank. The account was real, the money was there, a small fortune, a gift from a woman who had betrayed me, a woman who had also, in her own way, tried to save me. I started to plan, a trip to Europe, a trip to Asia, a trip to the world. I was going to live. I was going to be happy. The 5th anniversary came, a day I had dreaded, a day that felt like a painful reminder of a life that was a lie. I opened the 5th letter, my hands trembling with a mixture of hope and a profound, unending dread. I was expecting another letter of hope, another glimpse into a future she had planned for me. But the letter was different. It was a letter of a profound, unspeakable secret. James, it began. By the time you read this, you will have started to live again. You will have started to be happy. And I am so sorry for what I am about to tell you. She wrote about Liam. She wrote about the affair. She wrote about the betrayal. And then, she wrote about the truth. The secret that had been buried with her. The secret that had been a part of her life, a part of her love for me. She was pregnant, and the baby was his. My world, which had been so carefully rebuilt, suddenly crumbled into dust. The woman I had loved, the woman I had mourned, was a stranger. A liar, a cheater, a woman who had carried a secret so profound, so devastating, that it had taken her life, and now, was threatening to destroy mine. The grief, which had been a dull ache, was now a profound, unending roar of pain and betrayal. The letters, once a lifeline, were now a source of profound, unending torment. I went to my best friend, Mia. I showed her the letter, the devastating confession. She was a ghost, a woman consumed by guilt I couldn't comprehend. She had known about the affair, about the letters, about the pregnancy. She had been Elara's best friend, and she had kept the secret for her, a secret that had now destroyed my life. The 6th anniversary came, a day I had dreaded, a day that felt like a painful reminder of a life that was a lie. I opened the 6th letter, my hands trembling with a profound, unending rage. I was expecting another confession, another layer of her betrayal. I was expecting to be hurt again. But the letter was different. It was a final, unbearable act of a woman trying to make things right. James, it began. I have one more confession to make. One more secret. One more truth. She wrote about the car accident. It wasn't an accident. She had planned it. She had planned to take her own life, to end the pain, to end the lies, to end the betrayal. She had planned to end it all. She wrote about her guilt, her profound, unending sorrow. She wrote about her love for me. A love that was real, a love that was profound, a love that was broken. She had planned to take her own life, but she didn't want to hurt me. She didn't want me to know. So she had planned it as an accident. A final, unbearable act of a woman trying to make things right. My world, which had been so carefully rebuilt, suddenly crumbled into dust. The woman I had loved, the woman I had mourned, was a stranger. A liar, a cheater, a woman who had taken her own life. The grief, which had been a dull ache, was now a profound, unending roar of pain and betrayal. The letters, once a lifeline, were now a source of profound, unending torment. I went to my best friend, Mia. I showed her the letter, the devastating confession. She was a ghost, a woman consumed by guilt I couldn't comprehend. She had known about the affair, about the letters, about the pregnancy, about the planned suicide. She had been Elara's best friend, and she had kept the secret for her, a secret that had now destroyed my life. I was left with a silence that was deafening, a loneliness that was unbearable. Every day was a painful reminder of a love that was a lie, a life that was built on a foundation of betrayal and suicide. The letters, once a symbol of her undying love, were now a testament to her profound, unforgivable betrayal. I had 100 letters, 100 years, 100 years of lies, 100 years of torment, and I was left with a choice. To live in a world of lies, or to find a new beginning. I chose to live. I chose to be happy. I chose to find a new love, a new life, a new beginning. I chose to live for Elara. I chose to live for me.